Cruise down the topsy-turvy, curvy road of fashion chic and ultra hipness as Cindy Crawford makes you look as good as you feel. The House of Style is coming up next.
You think it should go?
I had cheeseburgers that night. 99-cent Jack in the Box.
That's
not a plug. Sorry.
Because the November Rain video, how much it cost.
Right. We had to cut back.
But check it out. Check it out. Camera guy, come here. Matt, come here. I got John. I want to party with that man right there. I'm going to ask him if I can cast in a pole. He's not catching a lot, as you can see, that little sea bass, but when we come back, I'm going to be down there fishing with the man.
It's a little video called You Could Be Mine.
Yeah, this is Duff. We're still in Athens. We're still in Greece. We're still somewhere out here. Still having a great time. The next song is coming up, and it was also a video off our first record, Appetite. It's called Paradise City, filmed in New York, and also video in Paradise City. Welcome to the Jungle. Let's see. It was one of the first songs we ever wrote when we were all living in Hollywood, and it was basically a story, depiction of any really given kid who moved to Hollywood from Midwest, or I'm from Seattle, but it was, the words were written by Axl, but it could have stood for basically anybody in Hollywood, you know. And really it's just about overcoming that and you know, going for it and doing it. And we did it, and we're here. So, here it is, welcome to the Jungle.
In Times Square in New York City.
The late, great Jimi Hendrix will be the subject of an all-star tribute album due out next month. It's called Stone Free, and it'll feature cover songs by Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, PM Dawn, and Slash of Guns N' Roses, among others. Our colleagues at MTV Europe went into the studio with Slash when he recorded his tribute to one of the most charismatic and influential guitarists in rock history.
It's a labor of love, something that we've been working on for about 18 months. It's a tribute to Jimi Hendrix, and we wanted different artists to perform Jimmy's songs, and we asked Slash and Paul Rogers to do something with the band of Gypsies, which are the two remaining members, Billy Cox and Buddy Miles, and it came together rather quickly, actually. I was pleased.
We had a list of songs.
Yeah, we
had to choose from, yeah. And some of it was like inherently Hendrix.
Stuff you just couldn't touch.
You just don't with it.
No,
you know?
right. Leave it as a...
And so
this one was good because it was a nice jam that we could do at the end. That was what...
But plus it was just natural for us to do a good homage to Jimmy, but at the same time not trying to rip him off or, you know, use too much of, you know, try and copy him like a lot of guitar players do.
The Jimi Hendrix tribute album is just one of the many projects Slash is involved in. Coming soon, Guns N' Roses' punk album.
There was no marketing strategy for it or some sort of like ploy to get us to a certain place. We just wanted to record some songs and release them. And so if everybody's waiting for it, it's like whatever it is, it is. So don't take it too seriously. You know?
The last 2.5 years have seen Guns N' Roses come of age, the longest major tour in history.
You want to keep progressing or keep achieving goals or just keep going forward, and that's the goal in itself. You love music, and that's what you do. You don't like, this isn't a job, this is your life. So you're gonna play forever. As long as you love it, you're gonna be playing. And I couldn't even imagine all of a sudden going, okay, I'm done with this. I could be done with the business, I'll still be playing.
The Jimi Hendrix tribute album, Stone Free, is due out November 9th, to be followed by a Guns N' Roses album of punk rock cover tunes called The Spaghettians.
There's been some speculation that a Slash stand-in appears in the new Guns video for Yesterday's. Slash himself says no. To the best of his recollection, that is in fact him.
Good. I mean, it was pretty flattering to even, you know, I'm one of the few guitar players that gets the cover. You know, it's always the lead singer, which was that was cool, and I got to get my snake in it. I always think back to that song. Sent a couple copies to my mother.
Did you, in fact?
No.
Wanna buy 5 copies for my mother.
They twisted what I said around, and they only focused on certain things. Definitely the relationship between Axl and I, who they always are trying to make a real negative issue out of, which is not like that at all. And when that came out, there were certain things in there that I said that were true, but in the context of the conversation, they would have read completely different than the way the guy edited the whole thing. I was pissed off because I was like, you know, this is why I don't like getting involved with this kind of stuff, because I don't like being misrepresented and having a hit so close to home. I just got to the point where I just don't pay attention anymore and I don't read them. That way I'm safe.
Found Guns N' Roses singer Axl Rose guilty of 4 misdemeanor assault charges and 1 count of misdemeanor property damage. St. Louis Riverport Amphitheater in July of 1991, during which Rose suddenly leapt from the stage and started mixing it up with members of the audience, then stomped off and abruptly ended the show, blaming bad security. A riot ensued, causing some injuries and an estimated $250,000 worth of damage to the venue. This videotape of the concert was used as evidence in assessing Rose's guilt. As to why he jumped into the audience, here's what Rose had to tell us last July after he was arrested on a warrant from St. Louis in New York City.
I'm saying, yeah, I jumped off stage, and yeah, things went haywire after that, and maybe I could have handled it better or whatever, but no one was really handling anything at that point, so I took it into my own hands with what I could do, and what crossed my mind that time, because I've been pretty much pushed to the limit by their lack of security. But I don't see anybody else in St. Louis really taking any responsibility for anything that happened.
With no evidence adduced to support Rose's claim that a knife was being brandished in the audience, Rose was found guilty on Tuesday morning and sentenced to 2 years probation. He did $50,000 to various local child abuse organizations. If Rose should violate his probation, he'll face possible imprisonment for up to 4.5 years and a $4,500 fine. Guns N' Roses management has had no comment on Rose's sentencing.
The Guns N' Roses tour with Metallica, there was another riot. The show in Montreal started off on a bad note when Metallica's James Hetfield suffered severe burns from a pyrotechnic explosion. Then Guns started playing, but when Axl cut his band set short because of problems with the monitors, the unhappy crowd started rioting. But the band trudged onward, playing 3-hour-long blood, sweat, and tears concerts to sold-out stadium crowds.
We stuck in there and made our point. So that was a great achievement as far as I'm concerned. It was definitely the hardest tour that, at least for Guns N' Roses, we've ever done.
And Slash gave up his bachelorhood to marry model Renee Saran.
I tried everything to avoid, you know, tying the knot because I was scared to death of it. And there became a situation where it was one or the other, and I opted for getting married and staying with her. And once I did that, it changed me completely.
Hot on the heels of a lengthy world tour, Guns N' Roses are back with their epic new video, Estranged, which is supposed to complete the trilogy with November Rain and Don't Cry. And they've just released the long-awaited album of cover tunes, mysteriously titled The Spaghetti.
It's an inside joke with the band, and I can't wait for the rumors as to what the Spaghetti Incident's all about. But I'm not going to divulge that information. When we first got into this thing, I first started recording it, it was more or less punk songs. With anything Guns N' Roses does, it got a little bit more involved. We started coming up with other songs that weren't necessary. And so after, 13 songs were recorded, all of a sudden it wasn't a punk record so much anymore. It was a Guns N' Roses compilation of songs that we were into and bands that we were into when we were coming up and, sort of younger and being influenced by all this stuff that was going on. The album is pretty harsh. It's pretty explicit lyric-wise and attitude-wise and the subject matter of the whole thing. I like pinball because it's physical and it's definitely more rock and roll. Video games are wimpy. I got really hooked on it, And I thought, well, they haven't done a rock and roll machine in about 15 years. I think the last one was Ted Nugent. And So I thought, you know, Guns could probably get away with making a machine at this point.
So Slash approached Data East Pinball, and the Guns N' Roses game was born.
It's definitely a hit game. Plus, it's the first game that's ever had real guitars. It's also the loudest one made to date, you know. So I'm really proud of it.
Blaring 8 GNR classics, the machine also plays some unreleased material.
There's a song called Ain't Going Down, which we just never finished. And we have a chorus for it. So I figured we'd use that, you know, finally get it out there. So now that we've done it, we have to actually record it.
But that may have to wait a while, since Slash has been busy with his side project, Snake Pit, a reference to his fondness for the slithery creatures. The eclectic group consists of Slash on guitar, ex-Guns rhythm guitarist Gilby Clarke, Alice in Chains bassist Mike Inez, Guns drummer Matt Sorum, and Jellyfish guitarist Eric Dover on vocals.
The reason it's called Snake Pit, not Slash something or Slash, you know, or Slash in general, it's really a band, so we collaborated a lot because, for one, we were forced to, and for two, because none of us had really all worked together as a band, so we all had a lot of input to get the basic idea across as to what we all sound like together.
Slash plans to tour with Snake Pit in February, but fans must be wondering when to expect the next Guns N' Roses record.
We've been talking about it for the last year. We just haven't really, you know, with the absence of Gilby, there was a hole in the band there, then there was a new guy that came in, but we haven't really all come to a cohesive decision as to what exactly we're going to do.
With no album on the way just yet, fans of the full band will have to be satisfied with their cover of Sympathy for the Devil on the soundtrack of the new Tom Cruise movie, Interview with the Vampire.
It was an offer that I thought it was a great plot to get Guns more or less together and just start working as a unit. But I think we pulled it off really well compared to like a lot of other bands that would have been offered to do it that I don't think could have really gotten to the vibe as well.
Meanwhile, Slash may be embarking on a different kind of performance career with an appearance next season on Tales from the Crypt.
I don't have an acting career. I only did it because it's Tales, and that's my favorite, all-time favorite TV show. I'm like the cool DJ that's got the primetime slot. That was definitely cool. Thanks a lot. I was talking to the chick.
Having already wallowed widely in the rock high life with Guns N' Roses, guitarist Slash is whipping his auxiliary band Snake Pit together on the small club circuit, where the bar-oriented group seems right at home.
The main thing about Snake Pit that's cool is there's no preconceived kind of, we're going to be this or going to be that. It's really more focused on just playing.
I think this band was kind of like put together as the degenerates of other bands and stuff. It's like, you know, none of us are the leaders of bands and stuff. It's like all the backline guys, you know? So when it was put together, it's like, it was kind of like everybody's freedom to just go, just play whatever you want.
Snake Pit's biggest challenge was finding a singer who had just the right Slash-like qualities to front the group. Oddly enough, this turned out to be Eric Dover of the very poppy Jellyfish.
I grew up playing in rock and roll bands, so this was like a natural extension. There's a little different side to the multifaceted diamond that I consider myself to be.
The Snake Pit album was recorded with Guns drummer Matt Sorum and bassist Mike Inez from Alice in Chains. They weren't able to tour, though, a problem, but relatively a minor one.
When it comes to the bass and the drums, you know, there were certain bass lines that became a key part to the song and so on, but we worked it out. I mean, you know, there's only so many notes on the neck, you just have to find them.
Launching his new band in the nation's bar room, Slash offers up the traditional back to the roots statement.
Playing in stadiums is something where Guns evolved to, and then once we'd done that for two and a half years, I was just like, okay, I gotta get back down to earth here. This is a little bit too mega rock star kind of a vibe going on, you know.
This is why this album was made. It's like, you know, just to get back to reality, you know, to get back to what, you know, why we all wanted to play music in the first place, you know, and this is where we want to play it.
Snake Pit isn't Guns N' Roses and wasn't intended to be, but the group already has fans and they don't seem to care.
Gilby, man, Gilby is the shiz.
Slash is the baddest. That man can put that guitar down by his ankles and he can make it go womp, 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 womp. That's all I got to say.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
In news from the world of Axl Rose, the Guns frontman had been headed to court with his ex-girlfriend model Stephanie Seymour. She charged that he hit her, and he seemed to recall that she hit him. In the end, the sundered couple decided this week to spare the legal system another infusion of celebrity drama. They settled quietly.